Major events occurred this week that will affect the price of real assets, precious metals, precious metal mining stocks going forward. Welcome to Ron's Basement. I'm glad you're here. Without you, that's right, you, just you. Without you, there is no Ron's Basement. So in light of these events, what will happen to the price of gold and silver in the future? I've got a ton of great information for you, and I will share with you my opinion. Let's get started. First off, this week, the general markets, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the small cap, Russell 2000, IWM, everything went to crap, okay? I don't know. There's statistics. You can look it up if you want, but like it's been the worst week since whenever. It's been the worst week in a long, long time for the general markets. That affected the price of the precious metals and, in particular, the precious metal mining stocks. And the sentiment for gold and silver and the mining stocks completely reversed this week. Many of the gurus, the gurus are saying that it was the fastest change in sentiment that they've ever seen. Some of those guys that are even older than me and you, been around much longer, so they've never have seen the sentiment change so quickly in the mining sector. And you can call me crazy. Trust me, a lot of people do. But I actually think that fast change in sentiment, if the sentiment was going to change, I'd rather have it happen fast because things are happening much faster now. I made other videos on that exact subject. Things are happening as the patient has gotten sicker, just the overall economic, financial conditions, things are happening faster. So I think there's a good chance that the sentiment could swing back the other way just as quick. Our old friend gold tested the $1,900 per ounce range. Silver's in the same predicament. Okay, we dropped significantly, not a crazy amount, nothing to get freaked out about, right? Like, again, if we go back 3 or 4 months and I told you we'd have $1,900 gold, you'd be happy. So stop complaining. That goes for me too. But nonetheless, gold is, according to these technical guys, there's major support at 1,900, 1,880 range. And, if that breaks, then it'll go to 1,820 or 1,850, blah, 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 whatever. Nonetheless, it's holding around 1,900. My gut has told me for a month that 1,900 is like the new floor. Sometimes I'm wrong, but we'll find out. Okay, moving on to the unfortunate war in Ukraine that's still going on. The world is still splintering, if that's the right word, diverging, realigning, whatever the case may be. And I believe, just my opinion, but I believe that most Americans are vastly underestimating how serious, what a cataclysmic event is that is going on with this kind of world conflict and people taking sides or people not committing to take sides. I think it's much bigger than most people realize. And you probably missed this because the Western media doesn't want to point this out, but Russia, like their second guy in command or whoever, basically said that they're planning on backing the ruble with gold specifically and other real assets. I think that might be good for precious metals. China is one big hot mess. Their economy is screwed up. They've got everybody locked in their houses for COVID. They're building fences around their apartment buildings. You can dive into that one on your own, but good thing you're not in Beijing right now or whatever the other cities are over there because it's a mess. That is affecting their economy. That will affect, you got it, our economy. And speaking of the world splintering, China and Russia announced this week a major cooperation agreement that they're going to kind of combine or, coordinate their space programs together. And space and space exploration are becoming more and more important. Did you hear what I just said? They didn't include the United States of America. I wonder why not. Hey, while I have your attention, I put out new content darn near every day regarding the choppy waters of gold, silver, and precious metal mining stock investing. You're always welcome here. If you could like my video, that'd be great. If you could subscribe to my channel, that would be great. And if you want to share my video with anybody, anywhere, I'd appreciate it. Oh, and I have some breaking news for you. I'm sure you haven't heard this yet. Next week, the Federal Reserve, that upstanding, privately owned bank that controls all of our money, is going to raise interest rates by 0.5%. That has got to be one of the most telegraphed moves in the history of the Federal Reserve. If it's anything different, either way, it will have a major impact on the price of a lot of things, including the precious metals. But at this point, yeah, we're going to get a 0.5% interest rate hike. That has been priced in to the current price of gold. All these future interest rate hikes have been priced into the price of gold. And, you know, don't forget, they can change quick. This is the same Federal Reserve that just 9 months ago was telling us that inflation's just nothing to worry about. It's just transitory. And the same Federal Reserve that told us in 2008, don't worry about the mortgages and blah, blah. No, nothing. I mean, these guys, let's just say their words are and their predictions are subject to change and criticism here in the basement. And haven't interest rates gone up already anyway? I mean, I know mortgages have, like, the interest rates have doubled on mortgages in the last 3 months. I know the 10-year bond yield is almost 3%. It was at like 0.5% not too long ago. So effectively, haven't interest rates already gone up? And is that stopping inflation? No. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to explain it to you very simply why. And I heard, I think it was Lynette Zhang, explain it this way, and it made perfect sense the way she said this. And that is, we don't have demand side inflation. Demand means from the money. Well, we do, right? I mean, they only increased the money supply by 40% over the last 2 years. So we've got money supply way up here. But we have a supply problem. So we have supply down here. The money's way up here and the supply is right here, okay? So when the Fed raises interest rates, which interest rates have kind of already gone up anyway, but for demonstration purposes, they raise interest rates a whole lot. Maybe they bring down the money supply to here, okay? But the supply side is also, because the economy is slowing down and China shut down, supply is going down. So this here, right, all this extra money is still in excess of a shrinking supply of goods. Inflation, and look, I could be wrong. I'm a guy in my basement in St. Louis, but inflation is not going away. And that's good for the price of gold, because to the extent that inflation is greater than the predominant interest rate, interest rates are then negative, and negative interest rates, according to Mr. Rick Rule, are the number one factor over time that affect the price of real assets, including precious metals, silver, and gold. So those are the major events, according to me, that occurred this week that will affect the price of the precious metals. At the end of the day, I believe very strongly that there's huge support for the price of precious metals, and that the conditions are right as things progress, and things are going to change at a faster and faster pace, that we will begin to see the confluence of more supportive factors, and as they come together, they will provide rocket fuel for the price of precious metals. Of course, I could be wrong, because for the last 9 minutes, you've been looking at my crystal ball, just my opinion. I hope you enjoyed my video. I enjoy having you here in the basement. You're always welcome. You can always come back. You can subscribe right here. I'll see you next time.